Many people in Canada's next election are going to be talking about the carbon tax and how to get rid of it. I think another thing that we should be talking about that's key is immigration and how broken it is in this country. Let's get into it.
Oh, yeah!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. If you've paid attention to this channel for a long time, I've been talking about immigration and how I feel immigration is the biggest problem that Canada's facing next to its overinflated money printing system and overtaxation when it comes to goods. Immigration right now is a huge problem as Canada itself bringing in hundreds upon thousands every year of undocumented and unvetted immigrants into the country, with the biggest problem being there's nowhere for them to live. Now, the situation is on the rise, and we're going to get into that shortly. But first, we're going to have a word from this week's sponsor, Straight Goods Clothing. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Straight Goods Clothing. Born from a former police officer of 17 years that left his post due to corruption and political cowardice, Straight Goods has gone on to rally thousands across North America in taking a stand against corruption. This clothing is made by high-quality standards and 100% cotton to ensure absolute satisfaction with your purchase. This Canadian-run company also donates 10% of all profits to help and assist with veterans, and that is why Unacceptable Fringe has locked arms to bring our very own line from the company as well. By purchasing, you're not only supporting a local business, but also helping to assist our veterans. Remember, staying silent and doing nothing only allows for the chaos in this country to continue. By putting on something that's bold and peaceful to make a statement is the only way that we can stand up, and what better way to say it than by donning some straight goods, link below in the description. Now, as I said, when we get into immigration, this is a huge problem that I keep seeing in Canada because guys like Pierre Poilievre, who are running for the Prime Minister's seat and will most likely gain the Prime Minister's seat in Canada, well, they're saying they still want to continue to bring immigrants to this country. And of course, that's one of the biggest problems we're going to have, and it's only going to make things worse. Pierre Poilievre, of course, talks about wanting to put permits out to build more homes quicker, to remove the gatekeepers, to remove the red tape. The biggest problem is, and again, I've always spoken to say this country has thrived on immigration. We've always been a land of open borders to those who come here to make a better life for themselves, who want to enrich their lives and work and I guess you could say conform to Canadian citizenry. The problem that we're seeing, though, is that a lot of these people are coming here and there's no work. There's nowhere to live. People can't afford to live here, as people who are contractors right now are living in their cars. We have armed forces members living in their cars. We have people living in tent cities. Now, as you look even in the United States, Colin Rugg showing new migrants in New York City are reportedly leaving pee in cups on people's doorsteps as the migrant crisis continues to spiral out of control. Living among pee and poop is just part and parcel of living in New York City, I guess. Unfortunately, it gets worse. Migrants are also pooping in cups and leaving them in public areas. The situation got worse last week in East Village after the Parks Department got rid of 3 porta potties because they became too disgusting to clean. There was a cup of what I thought was somebody's discarded hot chocolate that turned out to be somebody baking brownies, said a street cleaner. Most of them wanted to pee in plastic cups rather than on the ground, and they leave them on people's doorsteps, said a resident. The video below was taken by NJEG Media, and it shows the current situation in Thompson Square Park. It didn't have to be this way. Now, we'll take a look here, and I know people are saying this is New York, though, Derek. What does this have to do with Canada? Well, let's take a look at just how bad things are. That. Now, people yelling in the background, so we won't keep the audio on, but you take a look around. All of these migrants, again, fleeing to America with the promise of a better life, and look what they've done to these parks. Look at their clothes, the bags, the tents, everything up everywhere. And again, my heart goes out to these people that want better lives. The problem is that a lot of these people aren't coming for better lives. They're coming for nefarious reasons or to live off of a welfare system. And that is a huge, huge problem, especially when you look at things like UBI and dependency on governments. Now, what was once a thriving park in New York has become nothing more than what Donald Trump used to call a third world shithole. as you go through here, literally as people leaving their feces everywhere and human waste. I mean, it's sad, but at the same time, it's very disturbing. Now, why would we talk about New York and what's happening in New York? Well, because if you remember a little location that runs on the Quebec border with the United States and New York State called Roxham Road, over 100 and, or what is it? I think it was 250,000 in a year, somewhere around there. It's 250,000 people, roughly, that come over Roxham Road every year seeking asylum into Canada and looking to move into our country and live off of our money. And these are the same folks who are leaving their fecal matter. You can see the outhouse in the bottom corner here of the screen. These are people that are wanting to come to Canada and stay in hotel rooms on the taxpayer's dime while they plead their asylum case. New York has made no qualms with stating that they often put these people on buses and ship them directly to Roxham Road, where they are, quote unquote, arrested as soon as they cross the border and are put up in hotels. And this is what cities like Toronto have even turned into. Of course, we've covered on the channel how Olivia Chow is raising taxes in Toronto almost 12%, I believe, in order to fund the changing of roads like Dundas Street, while streets are littered with people like this coming from other countries that simply have nowhere to live. Now, the ongoing problem with this is when we let all these people into our country, as Marty up north has stated on that tweet, coming soon to major cities in Canada, it's already here. We're already seeing this with tent cities, with drug use, with dependency again on a welfare system. And then it turns into situations like this, where we have uprisings. Marty up north pointing out 4 Albertans from Coutts have been in jail for almost 2 years because, well, let's pull up the whole tweet. Let's see what Marty has to say about the whole thing. Cut the audio there. 4 Albertans from Coutts have been in jail for almost 2 years because they apparently threatened RCMP officers. 2 years without a trial because the Crown has no evidence and can't make a case. 2 years about being denied their rights to a fair and speedy trial. Meanwhile, in Toronto, P.S. I need to update my list below. Of course, Marty has his clowns list. Apparently, cops won't arrest people who threaten others, including threatening cops. And this is the problem with the mass immigration that a lot of people don't want to talk about. Everybody wants to be PC and say, oh, it's okay, guys. These people are fighting for injustices in their country. They're talking about all the horrible things going on overseas. Go talk about them there. Go flood their streets. This is what's going to be the downfall of Canada. And Pierre Poilievre wants to bring more of this to Canada. How many people would say, hey, there's nothing wrong with immigrants. If they're going to help out, if they're going to conform, if they're going to work, if they're going to pay into the tax system, this is fantastic. Here's the problem. Most politicians, in fact, I'd say about 97, 98% of them want to bring them to Canada because all they know is who brought them in and they give them their votes. This is buying votes. Hamas supporters threatened to kill shoppers at Toronto Eaton Centre right in front of Toronto police, and no one is arrested. It's a 6-minute long clip, but I'll turn down the volume a little bit and we'll take a peek.
I'm telling you, because if he touches me, I'm putting him on the floor. You come near me, I'll put you lay down on the floor. I'll lay you sleep. I'll put you 6 feet deep. I'll put you 6 feet deep. We just told the cop to put him 6 feet up. Yeah. Palestine, and we're going to be on our way to the front. He's not trying to shit. He's a pussy, bro. Leave him. Leave him. Oh, bitch. Yeah, we don't know. You guys up here, we looking at you. If you're really a puppet, come on here. No. You're a bitch. You're a bitch. No, we're not going to hurt him. You're a bitch. You're a bitch. Suck your
Free Palestine!
Free
Again, ladies and gentlemen, I've said numerous times when it comes to the situation with Israel Palestine, I stand with Canada. I stand with making our country better, and the sense that we need to worry about our problems at home. We have so many issues going on in this country right now when it comes to people freezing in the streets. People can't buy or pay their mortgages, their rent. People can't even afford to find homes. Again, people are living in their cars. Yet we keep bringing people in, and there's nowhere to live. This is a very sad and disturbing situation, and it's one that's only going to get worse. And I know a lot of people in the comments are going to be mad, saying, hey, don't rock the boat, don't say anything negative about Pierre. But ladies and gentlemen, somebody should be asking Pierre, with all of these ongoing issues and these problems, how long is it going to take people to build houses? You can't build a house in a month, right? There's not going to be anywhere for these people to live. You hear him talk so much about use of the food banks and what we're doing. When is a politician going to stand up and say, listen, Canada's closed until we fix our problems, until we build those houses, until we have jobs, until we get our debt under control? Canada is closed unless you're bringing something to offer us in terms of your ability to work or to help improve things. We're not taking you in. We're very sorry. The situation, I mean, you've seen on the video here where this man is threatening a police officer. I'll put you 6 feet deep. Now, I might add that this complete coward has his face covered, which says a lot about the threats that he's making. But the fact that police are doing nothing, absolutely nothing, is where people should be concerned. You could be walking around these places with your children, and violence will break out. And if you don't happen to be with those protesters while you're in danger, and the police don't seem to mind. Keep in mind, Toronto police are also the same people who said, oh, it's okay that these guys are walking around naked. It's Pride Week. It's okay that it's in front of kids. You just got to understand, it normally is a bad thing to do. It's against the law. It's indecent exposure. But we let it slide because it's Pride, and we don't want to have any bad PR or do anything to rock the boat. This is Toronto, ladies and gentlemen. And if you think it's not going to come to cities like Calgary, like Edmonton, like Winnipeg, like Vancouver, I hate to break it to you, it's already there, and it's only going to get worse. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Should we start asking these politicians where their true stance is on immigration and where these people are going to stay while Pierre is building houses? I think it's a fair question. I like Pierre Poilievre. I have no issues with giving him my vote, but I would sure like to know what his solution is, because saying we're going to build homes faster doesn't put people somewhere to live immediately, and that is the problem. Again, folks, leave me your comments down below. Do the usual YouTube stuff. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure to click your bell for notifications and join us here on the channel every Sunday for our weekly wrap, where we go everything that's happened in the past week, everything coming up in the week ahead, as well as a little bit of back and forth with the community. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you there, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.